Are we going to take a minute to get it out? Welcome, people.
Hello.
Yo, yo.
Good afternoon, good day, good evening. This is Alicia Minto checking in from South Carolina.
Hey, what's going on, man? It's Chris Cade coming from New Jersey.
And Tasheen Poole coming in from South Carolina.
We are bringing you real money talk.
From real people.
On a real journey to real financial freedom.
We have been called to break down global economic concepts and ideas.
To help you grasp the realities of what's happening around you and how it impacts your livelihood.
So hear the red pill revelation from our perspective as thinkers as we navigate through this twilight zone and what we can do in the now to protect ourselves.
We are the Real Money Entourage.
We are the Real Money Entourage.
We are the Real Money Entourage.
And we are, guys. Welcome to the show. It's the Real Money Entourage, and I'm excited today. Man, we have been having some serious conversation prior to getting on here live with you guys. So we're going to try to keep it within our normal time frame, but I'm telling you, it was really deep. Before we get into that, we do have a special guest. Chris, you can unblock him now so people can see who he is. Edward Williams Bay is joining the platform with us tonight. Before I give him an opportunity to introduce himself, tell you guys to make sure you like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, which is Red Pill Revelation. And of course, if you're not, if you haven't liked this or following us here on Facebook, then definitely make sure you do that. Before we get into today's session, our last conversation or our last Red Pill show was on Friday, and we talked about dreams. And it was so interesting because we talked about dreams and we all kind of talked about what we thought we would do and how we ended up with carrot bars. But just real quick, guys, I went to the store the next day, and of course I told y'all about the teacher thing. And I guess I looked like a teacher because one of the guys was like, "You look like a school teacher." It was so funny. It was so funny. But anyway, guys, I'm excited tonight. Tonight we are going to talk about de facto status. What does that mean? So before we get into it though, Edward has joined us. Hey, Edward, please say hey or hi to the guests and kind of tell us a little bit about yourself. You're on mute, sir.
Okay. Hey, hello, everyone. Islam to the family. Peace to the family. Good evening, good night, good day. I know this is a big deal here. But me, I'm from New Jersey. I'm a fitness instructor. I have a personal training studio that is not operational right now, but I'm definitely entrepreneurial. I'm a member of Wealth Builders Worldwide, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be on this live stream with this platform. These platform hosts, I've been watching them. They keep it real. I love it. So I'm just excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you. We are definitely excited to have you, sir. Like I was sharing with you guys, we have been having a conversation prior to us bringing it to you live. And there were so many things that we talked about, so many red pills. We're not going to overdose you today, but definitely going to give you your dose. So take note, pay attention. I would like to start this episode with the United States Congressional Record of March 17th, 1993. And I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to be reading. I'm going to read a little bit, but then I'm going to come back to obviously the panel, and then I'm going to let them just say how they feel about what they heard or just any insight they want to give. And that's kind of how this is going to roll. So Chris, if you would allow me permission.
Are you in the building? You good?
Check you out. I see you. Okay. Hold on. Let me do this one more time. I grabbed the wrong one. Still, sorry guys, I'm gonna get my life together here. Okay, so what is the congressional record, United States Congressional Record of March 17, 1993? Well, this, I'm going to read it to you, but basically what happened is the United States legally bankrupt. And this is just a rundown from the speaker. His name is James Trabiant. I think I'm saying his name correctly, Jr. He is a speaker representative in Ohio. So you can definitely check it out yourself. But I just want to read through this, and I'm going to pause. I love how it has some highlighted areas. So you guys just please feel free to stop me whenever you feel like you want to burst out and say something. Okay, so it starts. Mr. Speaker, we are now here in Chapter 11. Members of Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganization of any bankrupt entity in world history, the United States government. Did y'all hear me? Okay.
Loud and clear.
We are setting forth, hopefully, a blueprint for our future. There are some who will say it's a coroner's report that will lead to our demise. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with here. It is an established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved by the Emergency Banking Act, March 9th, 1933, 48 Stat 1 Public Law 89-719, declared by President Roosevelt. The best thing about this is that you have where you can go and actually look up this stuff. So please do that. Being bankrupt and insolvent. So basically it's saying that President Roosevelt back in March 1933 declared that we were bankrupt and insolvent, which means that we don't have enough money, basically. All right, I'm gonna skip past the officials and the capacities, but I do want you to look at where it says, it is further evidence that the United States federal government exists today only in name, or in name only. The receivers of the United States bankruptcy are the international bankers via the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund. All United States offices, officials, and departments are now operating within a de facto status in name only under emergency war powers. So I'm gonna stop.
Let me stop you.
Go ahead.
De facto, if we could break down to the people what de facto means in short terms, we don't want to get too technical. Let's just keep it real layman's on them. What does de facto mean?
Okay, so Edward has his term, how he perceived it. So I definitely want him to share that. But I did actually look it up. So I do just want to give you the definition that I got. Okay. And de facto, just de facto, not de facto status. De facto means in fact or in effect, whether by right or not. Or it means denoting someone or something that is such a fact. So that is the definition that I got. So do you guys, Edward, would you like to comment on what I just read and share?
Sure. The way I see it, de facto in this regard means fake. They're standing in place of a real system of government. And what I mean by real system of government, one that is constitutionally correct, because the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land. Mm-hmm. And under this act, the emergency war powers, our Constitution is now no longer being followed. And thus, the people are having their constitutional rights violated.
Now, that was a perfect, that was perfect there. Alicia or Chris, do you guys want to weigh in on just what your thoughts are on what you've heard?
Miss Marcel?
So far, really, I think it's mind-blowing just from the beginning.
Right.
It is established fact that the United States federal government has been dissolved. I don't know how much more you need to go and read, but I definitely recommend you do and look it up. But just that part right there has to get you thinking. It has to get something stirred up in you as to, well, how are we still following the governmental laws? How are we still following? How are we still tied to, and how are we still bound by something that is dissolved? So that right there was enough. That pulled me in to definitely have to understand what's going on.
Man, it's crazy. Chris, you got something?
Yeah, I mean, if you really look at the whole scenario, majority of us don't even know, let alone how to get to this page prior to us bringing this up. Like, I had this information, I ran across it a few times, and I never really got in debt into this information until recently. So, I mean, I know what's going on, but talking to the majority of people that I know, they don't know this information. So it's a debate going to pop up because, quick to say you don't know what you're talking about. But you're right. I mean, from the blue part of from the blue highlight, it tells you everything. That's the whole breakdown of everything right there. I mean, we can go further on because I could see where they start referencing the Federal Reserve note. I don't want to go too far. I'm gonna let you add on, but yeah, I mean, this is a hard pill to swallow, and the fact that it's been out since 1933 is crazy. Like, my mother wasn't even here. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's for real. That's crazy. That's two generations that this information was not even. It's deep.
Now, if I may, jump in.
Absolutely.
Tasheen, would you mind reading the next sentence under, or even the rest of that paragraph where you left off us being de facto and name under, because the rest, the next part is so meaningful and interesting. I want to elaborate on that and share something with the public that we didn't even share in private. But okay. I'm gonna share something because I've shared this article several times, in fact, and I even made videos live on Facebook. Reading this document.
Wow.
But yeah, go, if you will, hit that next couple sentences there.
I will. Before I do that, Alicia, you were gonna comment something. Did you remember? Or you?
Just the fact that when Chris made the statement how his mom wasn't even born. So when you think about all the things that tie you to the federal government, birth certificates, Social Security, like all of these things, your citizenship, what has happened if the government is dissolved? What has happened? Like, what are you really connected to at this point? If the government has been resolved, am I connected to the International Monetary Fund? Is that who I belong to? So that was, when he said that, I was like, yeah, you're right. Anybody born after this happened, after the U.S. federal government was dissolved, like, where do you find your place as far as citizenship and just legality of being here? That's all.
And it gets gooder and gooder. So guys, before I do finish reading, I do want to let you know that I ran across this information and I kind of mentioned it earlier, which is why I wanted to bring it back up, because we were featured this morning on Kansu Atum Hotep. I'm saying his name wrong. I know I am.
Kansu Hotep Atum.
Okay. Kansu Hotep Atum. Oh yeah, my name is weird, so I make it my business to know people's names. So we was on his show, and you definitely want to check him out on Facebook. He has some really great content. So I did just want to throw that plug out. He normally goes live every day around the 9:20 hour in the morning. So definitely want to check that out and get a little red pill with him too, for sure. But back to this document. So I'm gonna start from the receivers of the United States. Bankruptcy are the international bankers via the United Nations, the World Bank, and the International Monetary Fund. All United States offices, officials, and departments are now operating within a de facto status in name only under emergency war powers. With the constitutional Republican form of government now dissolved, the receivers of the bankruptcy have adopted a new form of government for the United States. This new form of government is known as democracy, which is all what we all know, right? Being an established socialist / communist order under a new governor for America. Now that threw me for a loop there. Let me continue, and then of course you can weigh in. This act was instituted and established by transferring and or placing the office of the Secretary of Treasury to that of the Governor of the International Monetary Fund. Public Law 94-564, page 8, section 8, HR 13955 reads in part, the U.S. Secretary of Treasury receives no compensation for representing the United States. Okay, Edward, what you got? Oh, he fell out his chair. It was too much for him. He fell out his chair. He couldn't even handle it. We'll wait for him to come back. Okay, there you go.
All right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was a little excited.
Go ahead.
But what reason? And pardon me, Alicia, for jumping in earlier in front of you. That was totally my bad. But this next part hit me so hard because I remember being in school and every day in our homeroom we had to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right.
And the Pledge of Allegiance goes, I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
right,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, right? So now we're a democracy.
Wow.
And all us quote unquote Black folk are Democrats. And people have gotten very upset with me when they asked me if I was a Democrat or Republican or whatever. I don't claim either. But they got very upset with me when I told them I won't be just voting Democrat just to vote Democrat, because they say vote Democrat just to keep the Republicans out of office. You know what I mean? So when I stumbled upon this document, I knew that we had been hoodwinked and bamboozled. So, I mean, that right there alone makes me question the entire voting system and the two-party system, period. Because, right, we shouldn't even be claiming this democracy because we're claiming to hate the very thing that we're standing up and fighting for right now. And this is the source of our problem. So if we could just get over ourselves a little bit, I think we can begin to make tremendous headway and progress a lot faster than we already have. We are making progress. We are coming up out of the, people are waking up, but I know we can go so much faster if we drop these titles.
Man, you are so right. Chris, what you want to add to that?
No, I'm just waiting for the next paragraph. I came for the money. For the money.
So of course the money is next. But just to piggyback off of what you just said, talk about how he just dropped that red pill on us, how we said the Pledge of Allegiance, right? And we use those words when in actuality we are a democracy. And my idea of a democracy meant that we have a choice. You have this, it's really an illusion of inclusion. And I didn't even know. And not only that, it says being an established socialist, that's your welfare and all of that stuff, / communist. And communism is us being on house arrest voluntarily. I mean, they don't even have to be communists because we are so acquiescent that we're just letting them.
Whatever they say.
Get your dose. Get your dose.
Okay, so the next paragraph, here we go with the money, guys. And this part, we really need you to pay attention to because this is this is the part that actually blew me, right? Of course, we are wealth builders, all of us, so we know that gold is money. However, we didn't know, or I didn't know, I can only speak for myself, I didn't know like how corrupt and everything. I knew, but not like this. Like I just didn't know it like this. So let me read it. It says, gold and silver was such a powerful money during the founding of the United States of America that the founding fathers declared that only gold or silver coins can be money in America. Since gold and silver coinage were heavy and inconvenient for a lot of transactions, they were stored in banks and a claim check was issued as a money substitute. Did you hear that? Let me read that again. Since gold and silver coinage were heavy and inconvenient for a lot of transactions, they were stored in banks and a claim check was issued as a money substitute. So hold on, Alicia. They cannot see the money, but I am going to bring it forth, and I'm just going to switch back to read so that we can see everybody. Okay. Okay, so the next sentence goes on to say that people traded their coupons as money or currency. Currency is not money, but a money substitute. Do you keep hearing the word money substitute? Redeemable currency must promise to pay a dollar equivalent in gold or silver money. Federal Reserve notes make no such promises and are not money. Do you want to show them what a Federal Reserve note is? Can you show them what a Federal Reserve note is, Alicia?
So this is a Federal Reserve note.
Chris, can you put us on speaker?
These things that that we slave for on a job, these things that we work so hard for, these things that we kill over, these things that we lie for, things that have corrupted the nation, the world, the globe, for this money substitute. Money substitute, a piece of cotton is what we are slaving and dying over. Like we're working ourselves into the grave over this. Wow. All this was a substitute for real money gold, a substitute, a receipt, a what? An unsigned check.
We haven't even gotten to that part yet. So let me continue real quick. Okay, a Federal Reserve. So Federal Reserve notes make no such promises and are not money. A Federal Reserve note is a debt obligation of the federal United States government, not money. The federal United States government and the U.S. Congress were not and have never been authorized by the Constitution for the United States of America to issue a currency of any kind, but only lawful money, gold and silver coin. Okay, what y'all got? Who want to drop the mic?
It's crazy that we all here now. We came here. Money brought us here. No, excuse me. Freedom brought us here. We all on the same path for freedom. But it's funny how we're collectively coming together and we're learning this information that our grandparents didn't even know. Like, let's be honest. Like, our peoples didn't even know this information even existed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were taught, I was taught that money was cash. Cash was king. Like, I thought cash was the way. That was it. You save a lot of money. Excuse me. I don't mean to cuss at y'all. You save a lot of currency, you save a lot of cash, and you'll have a good life. You know what I'm saying? We was never taught about inflation. We was never taught about the taxes. There's some people, I'm 40, I'm 20 twice, excuse me. There's some people older than me that don't know nothing about the taxes. And they don't even know, it's sad, man. It's just the fact that we was poorly educated. And some of us really know that we were poorly educated and we failed to even act on it. Like, we really need to stand up and act on it, especially in the time we in right now. I mean, there's documents right there to show you that what's real money. We know what real money is. We know gold and silver is real money. You can't get around that. There's no way around that. But it's the fact that we were conditioned to think that cash was king. Until 2018, I thought cash was king. So, I mean, I know it's people, I know y'all got different, different stories of different situations, but I found out in, 2 years, not even 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
It's a little bit sobering too, because we're in our 40s, and I didn't know. Well, I'm not quite 40 actually, so let me not say that. I'm not 20 twice, so.
Me either, Tati, me either, not yet. It ain't happened yet. Nope.
Not 20 twice. But seriously, I didn't know. I shared with you guys. When I thought of gold, I thought of jewelry. I did not know money was I didn't know that. And what Edward said earlier, like when I discovered it, I felt we was bamboozled. And it was because I watched The Hidden Secrets of Money.
Man.
Hidden Secrets of Money. Mike Maloney, episode 4, did me in. He did me in. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that they are allowed to write checks on an account that doesn't have a balance. Actually, unsigned checks on closed accounts. So let me correct that. Unsigned checks on closed accounts. And then we go to work every day to pay for those written checks that was written on a closed account. And the only thing that they pay for is the paper that they print, the Federal Reserve notes. Man, that's crazy. Sorry.
Yo, you better not try it. I tell you that. You better not try it. You better not try it. What's gonna happen? Man, you know what's gonna happen. You're gonna get the book thrown at you. They're gonna hit you with months. They ain't gonna hit you with years. You're gonna hit you with months. Yeah. 400 months.
It's so much about this current monetary system that we don't know, that most people don't know, that it's even hard at times to explain it to people, because it's so diabolical. And I will be first. I'll be the only person on the panel to admit this. When I was born, the dollar was still backed by gold and silver.
Oh wow! Wow! Man, you came in the golden age, man.
And part of the reason why we didn't feel it coming up was because the inflation rate had not compounded that much yet.
That's right.
We were still able to save a couple dollars and have something a little later. I mean, don't get me wrong, it doesn't hold true to this day. But in the early 80s, we still thought we were getting, because the way that raises were given every year. You know what I mean? And in the early 80s, of course, I was just going into high school, but I had little summer jobs and things where I was getting my money, and I realized that the things that I wanted to purchase, I had a couple dollars left over. You know what I mean? So it wasn't as apparent. And I know that most of the people my age probably still believe that the dollar is backed by gold.
Right. And it's not.
And it's not. And it's like I said, it's crazy. I hope you're going to continue this article.
I am.
This article just tells you so much.
It really does.
Oh yeah.
It really does. So I don't think we're actually going to get to the whole thing, but I do definitely want us to come back, because we are almost at 30 minutes, and we definitely know that people have short attention spans. But definitely want to give a shout out to the people who are tuned in, and thank you guys so much for joining us. Kansu actually happens to be on. Thank you, sir. He said freedom brought us together. Gold is the glue. That is the truth. He said, and he's true. He said, we grew up listening to Cash Rules Everything Around Me. Yeah. And that's the truth. We surely did. Cream, get the money.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Okay, so let's get back to this document. Okay, so I read where it says that a Federal Reserve note is a debt obligation. Alicia has given us what that looks like. And if you have paper dollars in your pocket, then that's what it looks like. It is essential that we comprehend the distinction between real money and paper money substitute. Now, definitely want to pay attention to this because this is so, like, this is one of the things that smacked me when I read it. One cannot get rich by accumulating money substitutes. One can only get deeper into debt. So we the people no longer have any money. Most Americans have not been paid any money for a very long time, perhaps not in their entire life. Now, do you comprehend why you feel broke? Now, do you understand why you are bankrupt along with the rest of the country? Those are some sobering questions. Because yeah, now it makes complete sense. Because you can't, and I guess they'll get into this, where they talk about how you can't pay a debt with the debt currency system. And to be honest, if you really think about it, that makes sense.
Right.
Think about this too. Who's our president?
Right now?
And what right now?
You want to get technical or you want to be like
But
political?
what's his question?
Just who's the president?
Donald
All
Trump.
right, Mr. What's the name?
Now, what is Donald Trump best known for?
Business.
Businessman.
Real estate and gold. He got gold.
Bankruptcy. He's the bankruptcy king.
Oh yeah,
We
yeah.
have seven
You know what
or
I mean?
eight of them.
He's the only person that I know of, and again, maybe because it's just public, or maybe because I lack the research. But Donald Trump is the only person that I know who has become a billionaire and has filed bankruptcy more than most people.
You got a point.
So for a bankrupt country, who's best to lead it?
Touche.
I always said that. I said that when he came to office because I knew he was a businessman. You know, I didn't know at the time that United States was a corporation. I thought it was a governmental representation of the people. And if you just heard what I said, you do not have a representative government. You do not have a representative government, right? So yeah, but that's what I always thought.
We have a business. You
We
know,
have a business.
You better have a business if you live.
We're the ones who call it a government. Right. You know what I mean? They know that it's a business. They know that the United States is a corporation. They know it. They know it. They know all of this. But again, it doesn't benefit them at all to tell you, the American people. It does not benefit them at all to tell you.
Makes
if
sense.
they do, the gig is up.
Yeah.
The gig is up. You can do your own thing. But because this is not a government, that's what makes it de facto, and they can do what they want. And they are. Until a government of the people steps up, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
Guys, just to close it out with that, and thank you so much again for jumping on the platform with us.
Son, man, appreciate you.
Yes, we definitely have to have you back.
My pleasure.
I do definitely, guys, want to continue this conversation, but like I said, we don't want to keep you. I do just want us to give our final thoughts. I also wanted to mention when the government, or you just, what's so great is when the government is like this gives us an opportunity, like what you just said. That's the reason that Carrot Bars is so, or this wealth system is so incredible, because we get an opportunity to represent ourselves. We don't need a government. If you listen, the only reason that we need them is because of the paper money substitute that they have fed us that was real money, and it's not. That's the only reason that we even need them. If you think about it, no matter how many times you vote, whether you are a Republican or Democrat, none of that matters. If you actually look at your household and see how any of the representatives that you feel like you voted for supported you and your household, take a look at that. Ask yourself, how have they directly affected or impacted your household? And you're probably going to come up with, it hasn't. It hasn't. And even if you might think it has, we kind of talked about inflation. Edward went back talking about inflation. We haven't gotten into that, which is why you want to stay tuned, because we're definitely going to break that down. But with inflation, you're still losing. So exchange as many paper dollars as you can for gold, and you're on your way. And you're on your way. Those are my final thoughts. Alicia, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, well, I think you covered everybody's final thoughts, because the only thing I was gonna say after, hearing that information was get you some gold. I mean, at the end of the day, we're Real Money Entourage, so we're only gonna talk about the real money. We want you to know that, yes, you need some dollars for your day-to-day at the moment. Don't think that that'll be long-term, but right now, yeah, you need a couple of dollars on you. However, you need to take the rest of that, get it out of your bank, get it out of your bank, get out of your 401k, and you need to start stacking some weight. You need some real weight so that you can start making power moves when the poopy hits the fan, because it's going to hit the fan eventually, and you just want to be prepared. So yes, we get paid to get prepared. I heard that this morning, Mr. Michael Dowkel said it, and I love that we get paid to be prepared. So we are preparing and getting paid at the same time with real money.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Chris?
So please check out that document that we were going across earlier. If y'all need or want, I think what I'll try to do is put it in the comments. So if anybody wants to check it out, you can check the authenticity out of it. Do some research. Please do some research. It's important to do research, and don't listen to who you think might know, or CNN and NBC and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Really dig in and do some research, because a lot of this information is available, but it's not going to be publicized. So just try to do the one on something, man. I mean, and save some gold. What the sisters is telling y'all, man. Y'all got to get some gold in y'all hands for y'all babies, for y'all kids, y'all grandkids, whatever. Just store your money. Store your money, man. Do some research. I love all y'all, man. You already know what it is with me, man. I'm just trying to spread this word.
Awesome. And since we do have a special guest, would you like to close us out with your final thoughts, and then we just at the end here?
I'm with Alicia. You said a whole mouthful. I'll try to summarize if I can in my own word. Right now, what we see going on is a change, and everyone on this live stream, everyone not on this live stream, everyone 98.6 degrees and breathing has an opportunity to take advantage of that change. There's an exchange of wealth taking place as we speak. And I believe that the ones who have the advantage are the ones that think they don't. Because, and I don't want to quote Donald Trump. I don't want to sit on here like I'm an avid Donald Trump supporter, et cetera, et cetera. I just recognize what the man is doing. But what have you got to lose? You don't own nothing. So you don't have anything to lose, but you have everything to gain. Know that gold is an asset. And I'm sure this panel has expressed what assets are. If you don't know what an asset is, look that up for yourself. Right now, you could Google it if you need to. But gold is an asset. It's probably one that is most easily attainable. That's why we're here. We're trying to help those who think they've been disadvantaged and who have no power. We're trying to show you that you do have power, because we are no different than you. We started the same way that you may start. We were a little bit apprehensive. We had to do a little research. We had to look some things up. We had to get with some like-minded people, and here we are, trying to share this information with y'all out of what Chris said was love. We love each and every one of you. We have to love. We're loving on you right now. That's why we're sharing this information. We're not here to get your money. We're here to help you save it. We're here to help you save more of it and to free yourself. Like Brother Kansu said, we came for the freedom, and the gold is the glue that bonds us together right now. So if you got gold, you can get free.
And listen, that is incredible. We're going to ooh on that. And we'll see you guys next time.
Oh,
Chris, you're in control.
peace. That's peace, man. That's love.